short. Right? You just want to start getting this on their radar. So, think about it, like something as simple as, your kid's home communication log, right? Everybody, you guys all fill out home communication logs for your kids. Grab one of their pencils and write like 2 words for the home communication log with their pencil. So just try to think about finding times throughout the day where it's easy to model that pencil, really quickly. And while you're doing it, make sure you're doing think out louds, right, to help them understand what you're doing. So if like you're using the eye gaze frame, you're going to say, oh, let's see, we're writing a note to your mom now. We're writing something in the home log. You had pizza today for lunch and you really liked it, so we're going to write the word pizza. I'm going to use your pencil. Okay, pizza starts with P. I'm going to look over here at this card because I see the P over there. Let's see, and P is a pink. So now I'm going to look over here at this card because this is pink. Right? So you're going to be talking the kid through.
Classroom, I'm the teacher, and Jane is the speech pathologist, how we work together. And how we actually marry the curriculum and the communication interval with the kids in our room. And I think the discussion we had just a while ago tells you it does generate some differences if we don't actually define what we're talking about. If we don't define why we want to use the switch and in what context we're using the switch. And of course that involves assessment, that involves the SET framework. Do you know what the SET framework is? The SET framework basically is whenever you look at putting any technology into your classroom, you need to look at first the student, then the environment, then the task you wish to engage in, then you choose the tool. You don't go to a conference like this, get a Big Mac switch, walk back in your classroom and go, which kid in my class can use this Big Mac switch? Let's pass around. And that's a problem we had this discussion was we all had different ideas.
Same with this one. Okay, so this is the part that receives information from the pen, and this is the pen here. This one doubles as a USB drive, so you can store all the information on there. Okay, so basically with this one I just turn it on, and I can use any paper, any notebook that I want. I'll just take that over there. I'm not going to give you that this time. Okay, and our first glitch, we've run out of power. Okay. But basically what I would do with this, I'll still be able to show you the types of information that it's recorded. I just click that to the surface, okay, and then the student just writes. Okay. It could be the student writing their own notes. It could be somebody else writing notes for the student, where the student doesn't have capacity to write their own notes. So
what we feel is quite interesting here, and you can see how Got-It has now come up with real word errors. It's actually working better now because it's this online database that's been built in. Let me just go back to the one before where it failed, just so you get a picture again. See, non-words, not real, it's failing, okay? Things that don't look like a real word at all, it's failing. Things that look like a real word, these other normal ones are doing pretty well, okay, they're up above. But when we get to the words, where we get this real word error business, i.e. contextual errors with the homophone, the letter transposition or similar looking, it's not doing badly, okay? So the online spell checkers are coming out pretty well, and Oribi is the only one that's actually bucking the trend of one that's a downloadable one that actually sits on your computer.
You've got that same activity. If you're using videos, maybe you make a nice activity that the child can directly choose individual videos. We just made a jukebox. If we could have 4 things on our IntelliKeys board, we could have the Kings of Leon, Lady Gaga, Dizzy Rascal and LaRue, and the child could touch whichever one they wanted and listen to that piece of music. And you've created a very, very simple, very powerful tool. And it could be anything. It could be videos of cats and dogs or anything at all. But making it a keyboard works really well. Anybody use PowerPoint? PowerPoint does the same thing, right? But it's a little bit more, they never really talk about it. With PowerPoint though, you just have to press enter at the end. And PowerPoint will link up to 999 pages. So if you wanted to make an activity up to, a counting activity up to 999, you could type 999, press enter.
addition to the recorded auditory cue, there's also an auditory beep that you can set up, and you can use that with or without the recorded auditory. So it can simply, as you're scanning, simply beep, 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 along with the visual cue or without the visual cue, either way. And there are two settings for the visual, for the LED brightness. The standard is fairly bright, which is nice in most cases, but for some people it might be too bright, it might be a little distracting, so you can tone that down. And then of course you can always turn it off. So, the device itself has a built-in grid with information on all the functions printed on here. So it stays on here, so you don't have to worry about where's the manual, how do you find out what does what, and that sort of thing.
Similar words to say she, could be her, or something like that, you know, like that.
Sort of. Not specifically in the predictor, but when I show you the next bit, you might see that you could use it in a different way.
Okay.
I can't spell now, so I'm going to try and write. Help with writing is exactly what I need all the time in physics, okay? So if I start writing help, I've got a good idea I'm going to get HE, I'm going to find help, and again, you know I could listen to it if only Johnny did it. So if I was going to write with writing, as the minute I put the W in, it's predicting with very high up on that list. And for writing, I'm going to start it with an R, because that's how I'm thinking it will go. And immediately I put the I in.
We use different types of modelling. Peter Darrick is Professor of Psychology at Oxford University, and he talks about video cells modelling as being the single way that people can learn, the best single way that people can learn. But sometimes it doesn't work because of different situations. The kids can't do what you want them to do. They're learning. So we have to use somebody else, peer modelling. Feed forward is a term that Peter Darrick coined because he was videoing people and he said, yeah, that's what you can't do. What he wanted to do was show what they could do. So, feed forward, you video somebody or film somebody over a long...
Doing low tech, now maybe I have the voice output with it as well as the opportunity to revisit it on my own. Same thing here with this last example. This is an example of a social story. This social story was one that my colleague put together when the school that she was working at had a power outage. And so it was, you know, it was still relatively light. There was a lot of light coming in the windows, but something was different. And one boy was really having a hard time getting back on track. He was just sitting, I have a video of him sitting like this. And normally he's a very active guy, lots of vocalizations, lots of movement, flapping, lots of just activity all the time. And so she knew that something was wrong. He wasn't engaging even with his favorite thing. So she wrote this social story. The power went out, it's a little dark, light is coming in the window, we can still see, I'm safe at school, the power will be back later. We are